Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome along to the SFC interviews. This is number 37 now with Jermaine Hunter, who used to play for the club back in, it was about 2004, is it, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, that's correct. 2004, 2005.
You were signed by Graham Wesley as well. Of course, that was probably, kind of a little bit of a strange one in itself, was it, with Graham? Because obviously, what was he like as a manager? Was he a little bit unusual?
You're trying to get at something. To be fair, yeah, like the thing with Mr. Wesley is a very good motivator. So, speaking to him when I was at Staines and he took me to Stevenage, I hadn't done a pre-season, so he'd come and watch me play. I think I'd scored 15 in like 9 games for Staines, and it sounded really good. And he said everything that he'd watched in my game, and that he definitely knew that I'd have a place in his team. I'd be a starter or contending to start, and I was happy with that. So yeah, at the beginning, all good.
So, of course, you played up front. You just said about your time at Staines, which is what kind of got you noticed by the club. So, what was that like, your first few days walking into the door? What kind of turned your head to choose Stevenage?
Why did I sign for Stevenage? Well, Stevenage got a strong history, people like Grazioli, I think it was. Always remember that from a young age. Their FA Cup runs against Newcastle. I think it was, is it Fairclough was the manager?
Yeah, Paul Fairclough, yeah.
So, you always remember those names and what they did. So the way they do things, that's what it was. Like I had an interest with Dagenham and Redbridge, spoke to John Still, but I don't think they will run as well as Stevenage. So that's what it was for me, really. Just the way the club was run, the direction they wanted to go to, and they were looking to get promotion that season. So I was fully into that.
That's right. And then in that time there, you played up front with Anthony Eldon as well. So, what was that partnership like? I know you didn't play loads of times with Ant, but when you were featuring with Ant, what was that like for you personally?
I think Anthony Eldon's a really good player. Was a good player. Had a lot of things to his game. Strong, had a good shot. Hold up play, played on the shoulder a lot, created everything for us. So it was a pleasure to play with Anthony. He's a good guy. And
of course, you made your debut in the game against Exeter, which we lost 2-0. We won't talk too much about that. We'll talk about the next game though, which was the home debut against Northwich Victoria, when you got your first couple of goals for the club, and it actually turned out to be, I think, your only 2 goals for the club as well. But what was that like to actually get a couple of goals in that game in your home debut?
Oh yeah, that was a dream. That was a dream, really. I'd been at Fulham from 13 to 20. I got offered a 3-month contract at Luton. Played up front with people like Daryl Murphy, people like that. And I just thought to myself, at that time, I went back to studying. So once I got the call from Stevenage, and I knew I was going to play, and that day kind of was set from there for me. I went to study again after I left Luton, so I sports science and a diploma in like personal training. That's what I do now. So it was a great day, but it geared towards everything that I'm doing now. So it was a good memory. But if I'm honest, I would have liked to get a load more of those. That was the plan, but it didn't work out. But we did all right that season. I think we got to the playoff final against Carlisle.
Yeah, that's right. And we just only narrowly lost out by 1 goal. Yeah,
1 goal. So you know what I mean. That was a night. That was a good game. But for me, I wanted plenty more of those. Once I knew that wasn't going to happen, I turned my head to studying. At 23, 24, I signed for Stevenage. And after that, I kind of, went back and finished up all my studies. So that day was good, but it geared me towards everything that I'm doing now. Taught me a lot.
Fair enough. So we spoke about Anthony Eldon there and that game against Northwich. When we played Exeter, of course, that was your debut. So when did you know you were going to be in the lineup? And, how were your sort of feelings? And, how did you react to that one knowing you were going to get long after signing?
I think the Exeter game, there was, I don't know whether this is right, but Anthony Eldon went home and we were all shocked. We don't know what happened, but we would have thought he would have started. So that gave me the chance to get in. I knew I'd be on the fringes. There was a lot of injuries as well. So that game at Exeter, I thought I might start even. But then when Anthony, I thought I was going to be on the bench. Then Anthony wasn't in the team. So then Graham had said to me that it's likely I would come on. So I kind of knew, but it was a bit weird because we were thinking, why is Anthony going home? So something had happened, and that was the build up to that game.
Fair enough. We are actually losing you a bit there. I don't know whether that's a signal thing or what it is. The kind of connection or whatever seems to be going in and out a little bit, or quite a lot actually at the moment. I don't know whether that's where you are or I'm not too sure. But we'll try and get on and with them, make the most of the situation that we're in. But yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah. So of course George Boyd was in that team as well. The team that got to the final there with Carlisle, who was coming through. So what was it like with Boydie as well? Of course, knowing that he was obviously one of the club's hot prospects coming through the youth academy and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'd heard a bit about Boydie, to be fair, from a couple of other players and stuff, and he was a real good player. It's like his legs were made of rubber. He'd just go past people non-stop throughout the game, constantly, both sides, left foot, right foot. It's a dream to play with Boydie, and that's probably why he's went on to do what he's done. But when it came to him getting into the team, I remember a few bad occasions where he got clattered and stuff like that. And the response from him was really good. Like, he never shied away. He was quite slim then. And the kind of training that we did at the club set us up, like literally it was 9 to 5s every day. Some weeks we wouldn't even have a Sunday off. It was crazy. So someone like Boydie who had technique, I think it was good for him. So he got reinforced with all the strength work, the conditioning work. So a real top player, Boydie. You could see it from 19, I think he was. You could see that he was going to go on.
And we'll take it back to you as well now. So, when you were getting into football at a younger age, who were your sort of main influences and, the people that you admired and stuff getting into the game?
Oh, well, not many people know. I actually started off as a left back.
Right.
From North London. Played with people like Joby McAnuff, that kind of player. And it was just more like my idols were more my parents, if I'm honest.
Yeah, fair enough.
But my favourite players, obviously, people like Thierry Henry, players like Zinedine Zidane, that kind of thing. But I was a left back, so as I got older, I moved into a winger as a winger. Yeah. And as I fell down lower, like the Conference Ryman League, then I played as a forward. So I think for me, I probably would have preferred to play more on the left. But I think Graham brought people like me in because there was so many injuries. So at one point, I think we had 7 strikers. Elgin, John Nurse, me, Mark, I think it was Quayle, Joe Flack. I mean, we could just Stampede. And at that point, it was crazy. So influences, just my influence was just to try and get in that team. My influence was just to try, because it was kind of like my last chance to play professional full-time football. So my influence was just to achieve and get into the team.
And, Graham at the time said that he brought you in to kind of try and help us into that kind of little bit of a push onto Football League football. So, of course, we weren't able to do it back then, but, we've managed to achieve it now, and the club is still there to this day. So, what was it like for you seeing the club actually, get that promotion back in, it was about 2014, I think it was,
Yeah, I think when I was at the club, we had the potential, and I think that's the key word is potential. A lot of us could see that the club was going in that direction. So when they got it, I was really happy. One thing I will say is fans were really kind to me. You know what I mean? Even though at times I weren't playing, they'd sing my name and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that. One thing I would say is Stevenage fans are ace. They really do get behind that team. So, for me, when they got promoted, I just looked at it as they deserved it, really. But I think the potential that we had then probably would have been better harnessed if we'd given a bit more faith. If at the time had given a bit more faith to youth, and I think that's where Stevenage's future lies with the youth. A blend of experience, and that put me in good stead. And
that's kind of what the squad's like now. I don't know how familiar you are with Stevenage's squad, to this day. But it's very much, as you've said there, it's a lot of youngsters coming through from the youth team or on loan from bigger teams, in the Championship or even from the Premier League as well. And then experienced pros like Ben Coker, like Romain Vincelot, and like Luke Prosser that are there now as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too familiar with most of the players, but I know I played a bit with the manager, Alex Ravel.
Yeah.
And his style is all about that. He's a player who definitely got good knowledge of lower league football. He was a technically gifted player, left foot, right foot, good striker, could play in pocket. So I'm sure if he's influencing these good young players, then they're not going to go far wrong. So you're in good hands, I think.
And we've got a message there from Paul as well in the comments. It just says, what a gent. It agrees with you. I'm not
Thank
sure
you.
what that's to do with or most of it, but anyway. And Kieran there, Innie will get 15 goals this season. I'll be speaking to Innie actually, Kieran, in possibly even as early as tomorrow, mate. So keep an eye out for that. And I think later on today, I might even be speaking to Coke. So that one might be on Kieran later as well. So a couple of the current players want to come on and have a chat as well as former guys, which is always good to kind of get that kind of mix.
Yeah.
So we spoke about Graham, previously. You played with Jason and Ronnie as well. So, what were they like as captains? Who was your captain at the time? Was it Jace?
Yeah, Jason. Ronnie came in and he was on trial for a long time, but he really applied himself for a period of I think it was 3 to 4 months. And then he got signed, and he was from there, he didn't hit the ground. He didn't stop in the team every week. Jason, a true leader, very, very, very strong leader. Was good for our team. Supported a lot of young players. Won everything. So yeah, I'd say Jason was my captain at the time, but I think Ronnie went on to captain the team. So it was like a natural progression.
He went on to captain the team to lots of successful trophy-winning sides as well. Excuse me. He was the captain to lift the trophy at Wembley, and the captain, to do that. And I think he was club captain when we won the promotion. I know Robbo was actually the captain at the time, but I think Ronnie was, sort of in and around and kind of second captain as such.
Yeah. He was always that kind of character. Ronnie worked really hard and always encouraged all the players, But I'm happy for him. Happy he deserved it. To be fair, he really did.
And then we've got what we've got on here. So we spoke about what your reasons were behind sort of joining Stevenage. When you look back on your time at Stevenage, what kind of game or what kind of memories do you have on? What was your kind of favourite game, favourite memories of when you're at the club?
I think we played. I think it was Barnet at our ground and stuff. Those games were really, really fiery. I enjoyed those. I really wanted to get on. I think sometimes he'd throw me on with 10 minutes, expect me to grab a winner. But so those games. Obviously, my debut was a good day. Scored 2, could have got a hat trick. But yeah, that game there. I was in the squad for the game against Carlisle where we lost 1 to go up. So that was a memory because, when you lose a game, in a sense, at that stage, you either go on or you don't. Do you know what I mean? But it definitely, everyone in our squad took something from that. And so it's a good learning curve. So that game, I would say, stood out.
And did you think that, you were in the squad, did you think that, if you did get on, you would have been able to grab us a goal and maybe taking it to extra time or whatever?
Definitely. Like for me, going into that team, Graham brought me in because he said I had a lot of pace. I played a lot on the shoulder. I had a good touch, and I know where the goal is. So that's what my intention was when I come in. But I think where we went, well, it's not where we went wrong. It's the manager's choice at the end of the day. I mean, I'm 38 now. When I was at Stevenage, I was 24, 25. And looking back, I always ask people I work with now, young players I work with, I always ask them, what comes first, talent or hard work?
Yeah.
And a lot of them say hard work. I think they're just trying to be right. But no, talent. Look at George Boyd, you know what I mean? He's just got talent and that comes first. But if talent doesn't work hard, then hard work out wins. So, you know what I mean? I think that's something that I learned from that, and that stands with me now. So if I could have probably worked a bit harder, looking back in hindsight, I would have. You know what I mean? But at the time, I think I was giving it everything. So.
And that's quite an interesting thing that you just said there about talent and about the hard work as well. You know, people do look on it as, you know, hard work comes first. If you put the hard work in, then you'll get to where you want to go. But actually, you know, this person might have talent from a very, very young age.
Yeah. I think the way the game's set up now as well, you know, at the time, every week we would get analysed. So after each game, we would analyse thoroughly. You know, sometimes it was embarrassing for people. It was a lot of character building at Stevenage. But I think if generally players could have been given a bit more time to work on the things or know a bit more, have a clear message, I think we had a set plan, which everyone bought into, but it didn't work for every player. So I think like working hard specifically at the things that the manager thinks he needs is what we could have done more of. You know, I think we generally just, you know, all of us were athletes. I think we were the fittest team in the whole, strongest team. We knew, like, the way it was is, you know, Graham would say to us, no one is going to outrun you. No one's going to outmuscle you. And no one's going to have as much desire as you have. And I think just generally that's a good way to start. But when it comes to talent, it needs to be harnessed. It needs to be nurtured. It needs to be, you know, guided. And I think that's something that, you know, for the future, hopefully Stevenage take on, because they've had so many good players. Like, I remember DJ Campbell coming through. I remember him. He was at Yeading after that and then went on to play in the Premier League. And I think, why couldn't these players do it at places like Stevenage? Do you know what I mean?
There's a lot of players that have gone on to Premier League and even international as well. You know, Boydie, Morrison, DJ Campbell, the Sodji lot as well. There's Effie Sodji and Sam Sodji, and all of them have played for the club. Barry Hale is another one who I spoke to a couple of weeks back. You know, there's quite a lot of players that have gone on and done it. You know, they started off at Stevenage, or that was where they were kind of found.
Yeah, so it is a good place to start. But yeah, I'll definitely be watching a few more games just to see how they're getting on. I always keep a little eye on Stevenage, you know. But yeah, I think generally Stevenage has a good way of doing things. You know, the fans, you know, the club. I was back there the other day watching a under-23s Chelsea, a player that I work with was at Chelsea against Tottenham. I know Tottenham under-23s player at the stadium, and I saw a stand behind the goal.
Yeah, so, the new stand's been up since I think it was last season. It was finished. Yeah. So basically, like, they're always trying to strive to do better. So yeah, it's a good look. And it's, you know, it's a lot better to attack that goal as well now for players, no doubt, because, you know, when you're attacking a kind of sort of shed end as it was, where there was only a couple of hundred people there, but when you've got 2,000 people behind that goal, and it's, you know, once fans are back in and everything like that, that could actually have a big influence on, you know, the team when they're attacking that end.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a funny time. Like, that's actually a good point. At a time like this, we all realise how important the fans are. You know, there's no football without fans. But yeah, you've got a stand. Hopefully you get to use it a bit more. A nice new stand.
It took a little while to finish off and to even get the permission from the council and everything like that. It took a while to, you know, get it all finalised. And, you know, it's kind of the way that it was going with everything, that the stand gets finished and it only probably saw 5 or 6 games, and then there was lockdown, and then, you know, everyone's out again. Yeah.
Well, hopefully they get back soon. Hopefully everything kicks off in the next couple of months. Fingers crossed. Yeah,
hopefully it doesn't take too long. So, you know, how did you find training under Wesley? What was the sort of training like?
It was good, but I think at times we were separated. So that's what I mean. The problem was, if you're going to come into the team, you were used as like a player to fuel the players who were going to start, basically. So sometimes you wouldn't actually know, because if you know the strategy, when we're setting up sessions like pattern of play, you would make the interceptions, or you would, you know, and I don't think Graham wanted that. So I think generally I would say if we were working together a lot more, then I think we would have been a bit more, players like myself would have known how to fill in a bit quicker. You know, we had a lot of players, so I think generally that was used to the manager's advantage. He just replaced players. But I think when we were in training, it was very hard. You know, everyone was committed, but when it came to the players who aren't starting, they were never really around the first team. So I think that was a bit of a problem. Also, the reserves, it was like the reserve league wasn't very strong. So, I did actually ask at one point to go out on loan. But it was Dagenham I wanted to go to because they said they'll take me. But I don't think he wanted me to go there because it was the same league. So for me, I just wanted to play. Like, I know I would have done all right, but he didn't want me to go. So for me, training's not enough. The reserve leagues that we were in, we weren't playing against anyone good. When I got on, I'd only get 20 minutes odd. So I think training was hard, but there was some players were a bit disillusioned at times, and could have been a bit more of a unit, I'd say.
Fair enough. So you spoke about Alex Rivel a little bit there. That you know Alex. How do you think Stevenage will get on under Alex? And what do you think for him and the kind of transition now into manager?
I think it's really good. I mean, that a player that has that kind of ability can come and pass on his knowledge. Is it his first job? I'm not sure. Yeah,
his first managerial job, which is he was given it towards the end of last season. I think he had 4 or 5 games, as I said, and then that's why the club have gone. We'll give you an experienced head in Lenny Lawrence to kind of help along the way as well.
Right. Well, I think a lot of people know Lenny Lawrence, and he knows what he's doing. He's very astute. So having someone like Alex to translate that, it's a good match, and it's his first opportunity. So I'm sure that's the kind of club Stevenage are. It's a good place to start for players, for managers, for coaches. So for Alex, I think it's a perfect start. I don't want to say a stepping stone, but we'll see how far he can take him. But he's definitely got a bright future.
And you said it there with Stevenage. It's not just Alex Rivel. There's been plenty along the way. There was Darren Soul and Teddy Sheringham and loads of others as well. How did you feel when you saw that Wesley had gone back though for the 4th spell? It's sometimes going back that many times is a little bit too much, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But I think he had his most successful time at Stevenage. So I think generally, I think I would have thought he would have got him up and stayed a lot longer, but he didn't. So I wasn't really surprised. But how did it go? How do you feel? How do you feel it went?
To be honest, he didn't have an awful lot of time. He was brought in. We had Dino at the start of the season. Dino last season got us to the verge of the playoffs, and we only narrowly missed out by, I think it was 1 point or whatever, like one more win into the playoffs. They're not last season, sorry, 2 seasons ago now. And then last season, it's just a freak season to have that many managers and to struggle that much on the pitch. It's like, it's just unheard of. You never, we probably won't hear of that again for another 20, 25 years.
Yeah. Well, also you got to understand, like, the rules change. And like I was going to say, I remember if you was in that team and you received the ball of the goalkeeper in your box, you'd probably never play for Stevenage again.
Yeah.
So in a sense of the evolution of the game, we've now got a lot more footballers in England just because you can receive the ball, and that's how teams play. So for me, if you're a manager that's not used to that, and then you're going back and then the rules have changed, sometimes you get found out.
And he was brought in at a bit of a weird time as well. Mark Sampson was in at the time, and he was actually doing a fairly decent job. He'd kind of turned the corner a little bit. He'd been getting some more positive results. I think 1 or 2 of the wins were under him. There was quite a lot of draws under him, which were previously been games that we would have lost. And then, Wesley was brought back in at a bit of a weird time when Mark was actually, there was a bit of an upturn in form. Right.
Well, I don't know. You'd have to speak to the people in charge. Well, the thing is that he obviously, as a manager, he definitely has the know-how of these leagues. He's proven. So that might be what it was. But just like I said, in terms of the evolution of the game, I think if you're looking at people like Alex Rivel, they're a lot more used to playing with the ball on the ground. I mean, I haven't watched Stevenage properly. I've watched a few highlights. But I'm sure with your pitch, I'm sure with the type of player that you now have, the ball's on the deck a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So it might just be a fact, sometimes you've got good ideas, but you don't have the players, and sometimes you've got the players, but you don't have good ideas. So I think generally it could be something like that. But in a sense, at least, we're still in the league. I mean, sorry, you guys are still in the league. I'm not with you anymore. But you're still in the league. And I think that's the most important thing, because I always remember the main thing when I joined was they kept going on about promotion. They've been trying to get promotion. It deserves promotion. We're geared towards promotion. So that's the key, to stay in the league and make sure you build from there.
That's right. And, it might have been a bit of a strange one how it all came about with Macclesfield as well in the end. And Macclesfield today, I don't know if you've seen it, but they've been given a winding up winding up order as well. So it doesn't look like Macclesfield are going to have a club for much longer, which is obviously a massive shame.
Yeah. I heard something about it. I don't know everything, but, it is a sad time. But this is why, a lot of clubs definitely should put a bit of faith in at that level in the youth, because if you're going out trying to get promotion or staying in leagues by paying big wages and then this happens, it's just going to affect you. So clubs at this level cutting their cloth correctly and just basically being wary because of the times we're in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very key now, obviously the time we're going through with coronavirus and everything as well. It's quite the clubs have to really get behind the fans, and the fans have to really get behind the club as well. And you can see that in terms of what was happening with Stevenage in the community as well, where the community were the club were kind of helping out the community because it was kind of helping out with the elderly, helping out with prescription medication runs and sandwich deliveries and things like that for people that needed it. So that's kind of, everyone knows that Stevenage and what Stevenage are known for really is to do with that. But yeah,
definitely.
So we'll carry on anyway though. So we spoke about Wesley there. And what are your thoughts on fans coming back? How important is it to get them back in as soon as you can?
Yeah, I think we touched on it before. It definitely is. I think it's going to leave a funny feeling for players, playing in empty stadiums. So they're really important. Do you know what I mean? In terms of just giving you that extra 5-10%, that's what it's all about. Do you know what I mean? You do have a bit more pressure as well as a player when the fans are in. Do you know what I mean? Because you want to win, you want to help the team as a player, but you want to make sure the fans are happy. So really important. I'm sure it'll kick back off soon. In a couple of months. Let's pray. Let's hope.
Hopefully, and of course, the lower ended teams below the conference and stuff are already getting. I think it's about 300 are they allowed in. I think it is.
Yeah, that's not a lot, but it's better than none. So,
but for clubs like maybe Hitchin or maybe teams like Ware that are local as well, but it actually is quite a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. It's just good that they're opening up the doors again, because a couple of months ago we couldn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. So I think at the moment there's a bit of light, and we've just got to stay positive. We've got to stay positive. The thing is, football is a good thing that we have. We should appreciate it when we have it, when we can watch it, because we never know when it's going to shut down again. So fingers crossed, man. Positive, and I'm looking forward to being able to go and watch a few more games again.
Yeah, definitely. It's they're keeping up with a lot of games on the TV and stuff for the Premier League, and the Football League teams all have got the stuff available on iFollow. But it's not the same, is it, when you're watching it at your home rather than watching it amongst friends or in an atmosphere, because it's that's the whole point of going to football and kind of being a football fan. It's to go to shout, to cheer, to make as much noise as you possibly can and just get behind the team.
Exactly. It's like, what is it, the 12th man?
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, none of the teams have got that 12th man. And Stevenage, so at the end of the day, Stevenage are at a deficit in terms of having so many fans, having a nice stadium. So like I say, in a couple of months when the fans are back in, it should give the team a push, give the club a push, all the clubs a push. I think we'll see that. We'll see an extra 5-10% from most clubs once the fans come back in.
And I think that will, at the moment, there's no home advantage or anything like that, and that would all come back into play again as well. Like now, it's a matter of who's better on the day. It could be, football's a funny old game anyway. If some team turns up and the other team just has an off day, it doesn't matter if it's Man City, who are one of the best in the world, against Sheffield United, for example. If Sheffield United put in that extra 20% because they know they're going to the Etihad and Man City are having a bit of an off day, then anything can happen.
Yeah, I agree. But in a sense as well, teams have been able to, work a lot more on their weaknesses. Teams have been able to focus more on the things preparing to games. So I think players are a lot more, they're probably fitter. Do you know what I mean? The games are a lot quicker as well. They come around, they're trying to get the games done, get them in.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not sure Man City and Sheffield United is a good shout because... But, it's down to how good the teams are prepared. It's down to how much the players want it.
And you could see it at the end of last season, though. If you look at Liverpool won the title and they just kind of took their foot off the gas, and there was a few strange results in that, and they were getting beat by teams that normally they'd just blitz away.
Yeah, you could say the occasion sometimes catch those teams, so maybe that's why they're standing up a bit more. But yeah, like I say, I don't think it's going to last too much longer. We've got to say that.
Yeah, hopefully it's moves on pretty quickly and everyone's able to get back into the ground and stuff soon. Who was your team growing up? Like, who's your team that you support?
Me, Arsenal. I'm an Arsenal man.
So you must have been pleased yesterday then with the Aubameyang situation, him signing his new contract.
I mean, yeah, it's good for him. It's definitely good for the club because, without Aubameyang, I don't think there's going to be too much of a threat. So it's definitely meant to have happened. And, yeah, really happy that he signed finally.
Took a while, didn't it? I'm an Arsenal follower as well. And, the game against Fulham, I thought it was a good game. And that third goal was just beautiful, wasn't it, really? That was just a wonderful team goal.
Yeah, well, we won't go on too much because there might be some other Spurs fans on there or something. So I won't mention any score lines or anything. But we played really well the other day, and you can see that Arteta is really like I was saying before. When you get a manager that's played, got the experience, got really good philosophy, has a clear vision. So the players have a clear vision. Nothing's guaranteed. It's only guaranteed on the last game. Mm-hmm. And he's got us playing the real way again. He's got us playing the Arsenal way. So, we've got positive things to look forward to, I think.
That's right. It was, and yesterday as well, with that video with Ian Wright and Aubameyang, that was beautiful to see. When I watched the whole 10 minutes, it was amazing. It was it was great. But anyway, that's we'll move it back to Stevenage now. Cool. I do like the fact you're an Arsenal fan, though. That's always good. So yeah, what? How do you feel as a player? When you were playing for the club, you said that, you've now gone into doing a little bit of coaching and stuff. So the players look at you, the younger players look at you in a different light. Having the fact that you played the game as well. Yeah,
I think for me, someone like me, I didn't really push on after. I started up my own fitness company, a bit of mentoring, getting kids into a scheme that was funded, basically working, learning and earning. And, in a sense, I would always say to the players, look at me as an example. I speak to a lot of my friends, like some of them always tell me, well, they rated me, to be fair, which is nice. I always use me as an example of, like I said, hard work, talent. And if you don't work hard, then talent won't win. So it helps. It helps to have had a bit of experience. So, some players who have played higher probably look at it as, I didn't push on as I should have. Mm-hmm. But for me, I've been able to pass that knowledge on to players so they don't make the same mistake. Also, like when you sign for a club, I'm doing a bit of intermediary work now. So just helping players make the right choices, making sure that, whatever club they're going into, for the period of time they're there, they've got a clear view of what they need to do. So that's what I've passed on, really. And to make sure that players really want to play. A lot of players get into football for the wrong reasons or, think it's all about the fame and having everyone speak about you. But it's not the best. If you look at, I was watching a documentary the other day. I won't mention the team's name, but who I'm talking about. And some of their young players, the ones that are getting into their team are from North London. And the ones that are in there, I think there's a right back. And they've just worked their socks off. They've come from, humble beginnings and like those are the people that, do the game good. So that's it really. Putting good human beings into football, not just having good footballers, but having real development, real human beings,
And that's where Stevenage are really good as well, because we mentioned about the stuff that's been done in the community. That's kind of always an ongoing thing, with the club going out to hospitals and schools and things like that as well, and kind of just playing a part in the community as best they can as well, and kind of passing on any knowledge and all of that to the younger generations.
Yeah, I think also one thing I noticed was when it was Christmas and we went to the hospices and the hospitals, seeing the faces of these sick kids, and that we could just make a little change in their day. That was really important. So yeah, Stevenage has always been a community club, and I'd say football is a reflection of our society. So if you can do good, then it's only going to be good for the game. Do you know what I mean? And for the people in the community, and it's really important. So yeah, it's really important.
And then the club started off the Football League campaign again the other day with a 1-1 draw away at Barrow as well. So
Okay.
what do you think the aim should be for Stevenage? Not just for this season, but to progress now.
Well, I haven't watched so many games. I've seen some highlights and stuff. I'd say, like I said before, make sure they stay in that league, and then really try and build on from there. If the manager now can get his philosophy across and have a real, solid base, then there's no reason Stevenage shouldn't be pushing on into League One. But who knows in football? But yeah, I definitely feel that introducing the youth into Stevenage will do good long term, and getting that right blend. If they can get a few good experienced players from higher up in the league, then that would definitely be good. The right blend between the youth and the older players.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point there. We've only got probably one or two more questions now. So what would you say to sort of any younger players? Of course, the guys that you coach and things like that. What's the kind of one bit of advice that you pass on to them that they kind of stand up and take note of, or the kind of, like things like that?
Well, a lot of it's more sports science based, like making sure that they've got all the stuff they need. There's 5 pillars to what I do, and I'd say the first one's your mentality. So your mental reaction after games, your mental approach before games, making sure that you're mentally sound, making sure that you've done everything in that week building up to that game and prepared so you can't fail. So that's one thing. Another thing is your recovery, making sure when you finish playing football, you're not out, drinking. You've got a privileged position, so don't abuse it, and it'll take you further. That's one thing. The other one would be nutrition. Make sure you're putting the right things in your body, make sure you're hydrated. That'll take you forward, a far way. Some of the other pillars, I would say, hard work. And another pillar I would say is, enjoy what you do. If you don't enjoy it, I think sometimes, you can be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you're not being honest with your teammates. So it's all about being honest and enjoying what you do.
Yeah, so that's all great answers, really, to be honest. And, that all kind of sets you up for a successful time in the game, really, doesn't it? And, we've probably got one more question, really, and or maybe two, actually. What was your relationship like with the chairman, Phil Wallace?
Oh, Phil was nice. Phil was a good guy. Like, to be fair, I'd see him around, have a little chat with him. I didn't really spend a lot of time with Phil, if I'm honest. But he seemed like a nice guy. He seemed like, he was fully behind us. He was pushing us. So yeah, Phil was okay. I never had any bad experiences with Phil.
And then the last question, really, so just your opinions on, obviously there's the mental health aspects of the game at the moment, and Black Lives Matter, of course, as well, which are all kind of very prominent as it stands in football now. And what are your own thoughts on that, and how important is that to get the message across and to kind of just follow on and not just kind of have this as a one-off thing, but to kind of keep it going up and just to kind of keep people aware of it?
Yeah, well, in terms of mental health, people need to be, first thing is being healthy, making sure that whatever's causing you any kind of problem, if it's physical, whatever, you get out and you deal with it. You get illnesses, this COVID thing, everyone's taking the right precautions. I hope you're wearing your mask and all that kind of stuff. But it's really important to make sure you're healthy.
That's a good point, actually. Stevenage marks are available if you want to get them. They're on the club website.
Plug. I'll have one, definitely. I'll definitely have one.
Carry on.
In terms of mental health, that's definitely. I think also the way the game is and has been, definitely when I was playing, it's a bit. Players were a bit, I would say, ashamed or scared to admit that they were struggling. And it's really important that clubs, I know they're trying now to, have a facility that players can come and speak to people. Players can, express themselves and then be in a good position to then go and play. So that's getting better, I would say, in football. But it's going to take a bit of time because, it's an alpha male environment. So, you showing a weakness or you telling someone that you don't feel right is seen as a weakness. So, it's all about people feeling like they can confide in their colleagues or their club. And I think that's where clubs should take that responsibility, because we don't want, well, you just look at the England team, how they are, in a sense, where you've got a lot of young players in there now. And they've been brought up the right way, I would say. When I was playing, players were a lot older. So I always use that as a reflection. In terms of the Black Lives Matter, well, it's good. Anything, like I say, football is a resemblance of our society. So if society is discriminant or has a problem, it can spill over into the game, and we don't want that. So all these bodies, such as Black Lives Matter, I think it's a positive. Bringing awareness to things, injustices, bringing things to the surface in terms of discrimination. And to be fair, for me, football's always brought me into different communities, brought me into different cultures. So, I think it's perfect to be in football. I don't think it will go away just because of the world that we live in. But it's good that, there's some kind of acknowledgement. And I think in terms of mental health, Black players, Asian players, any player from a different culture, will feel a lot more confident and feel a lot more, have a bit more trust for the game and how it's run. Okay,
I think that's about time, to be honest. I think we're good there. So thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Jermaine. And it's been great speaking with you. And of course, you put a message out there to the Stevenage fans before, but have you got any final messages that you want to just kind of add to Stevenage fans before we just kind of end the stream here?
I'll just thank you for the support when I was there. Thank you for getting behind the team. Good luck for the new season and get behind the team. Hopefully you'll be able to get into the stadium soon. Fingers crossed. And I'll be looking out at the results to see how you're getting on. Good luck.
And cheers, thanks for that. We'll let you go and enjoy the rest of your day. Go and head down to the beach, or is that what you're going to be doing? You're heading out to the beach, are you?
Yeah, heading down to the beach, and we're just out here in the Mediterranean at the moment. Been doing some training with other trainers, getting them ready for work, getting them nice and well prepared, as we say. But yeah, we're going to relax now, head down to the beach, have some nice food, come back, recover, and then go again tomorrow.
All right, well, enjoy that. And thanks for your time again.
It's a pleasure. You take care.
Cheers. You too, mate. Thanks. Bye now. See you later.